Welcome to Puzzle with Emilia, that's me, and the very first European Jigsaw Puzzle Championship is gonna take place this week in Budapest, Hungary. So yeah, in this video I'm just gonna go through a couple practicalities I found related to the competition itself, and I'm gonna share my predictions about the winners and the puzzles. But not only that, and I'm trying to keep that very short because I also have a special guest on my video today, somebody with a lot of local knowledge about Budapest and somebody we all know from the puzzle community. Involved in a lot of organizing events and also super good speed puzzler, even faster than me a lot of times, and also a lovely person, so no wonder our chat got a little bit longer than I expected, and you're gonna see all of it. You know, I have this habit that I always go look all the information, I read the rules so thoroughly on the website, which by the way I also put in the description. But here's a couple of things I noticed just today. So for example, in the solo round, and this is very similar to the world, we will have to share tables. At least that's what it says on the website. The only exception to this is on the final round, where the best qualifiers from the previous rounds will have a single table. Now, another thing about pairs, and I feel very awkward that I didn't know this, maybe this is obvious to all of you, but in pairs, actually, the final puzzle will be 1,000 pieces. So I hope you have practiced for that. I definitely have not. Or maybe I haven't, but not with my pair. All right. And then for the teams. Teams is a little bit same as in the world. So you will actually, and by the way, here's the deal. Treffel is obviously sponsoring the puzzles, but the only exception is the teams category. Well, the puzzles will be from Ravensburger. Now, it will be the same as in the world, so with your team, in the classification round you will have 4 puzzles, you have to choose 2, and you have to also choose the order you're gonna do them. If you're wondering what is that background sound, that is my dog doing very dumb stuff. Anyway, then a little bit similar to the worlds, a little bit different. In the final round, the teams will all get 2 unpublished puzzles. But different from the worlds, they have to be done in the given order. So you cannot choose which one you're gonna do first and which one second, which from my point of view is just one thing less to worry about, so that sounds pretty good. Anyway, let's talk about the puzzles, because I already mentioned that in the final there will be unpublished puzzles, but what's the case with the other rounds? Okay, so I have actually shared some of my speculations already like over a month ago with my Speed Up members, and now I'm gonna sharing them publicly to the world. Kind of too late in a way, just in case I'm right, probably I'm wrong, and then this is just a good way to laugh at me. All right, anyway, the puzzle predictions. So I have been pretty certain all this time that all of the puzzles are going to be unpublished ones. But now, to be honest, after diving deep to that website today, I got a feeling that probably the classification rounds puzzles are not unpublished, because there's such an emphasis on the word unpublished when you read about the rules for the final rounds, but no mention at all in the classification rounds. Maybe they just wrote it when they were not sure yet if they will get unpublished or published puzzles, and they were just covering their grounds by writing it that way. But to be honest, I mean, that's actually the same thing we do in Finland. So the weather forecast, if there's a holiday coming, I think they always promise you a little bit worse weather than it's actually gonna be, because if you say that it's gonna be the most perfect weather ever, and then it's actually not going to be, it's gonna be raining, then everybody's gonna be mad. But if you do it the other way around, you can only surprise people positively. So I don't know, maybe that's still happening here. But anyway, what I'm actually thinking, so one of my biggest thing, and this hasn't changed and still haven't, I don't think they will use, so Treffel has different kind of qualities. The biggest catalog, the most puzzles you probably know is the basic regular Treffel quality, those very small pieces, very loose, false fits. I don't think they're gonna use that. So I've been from the very beginning thinking that they will use the Treffel Prime collection. Now the one little issue with this has been that Travel Prime collection doesn't have too many 500-piece puzzles. Those are almost actually impossible to buy right now, at least when I was trying to look online. Like, it's not really available out there. And I've also heard some rumors that Travel as a company is not continuing of doing those 500-piece puzzles in the Travel Prime, which sounds like it might be true, but I'm still... And somebody also mentioned there is this Travel Plus collection, but my problem is that I've never heard about it before, and this was just a couple of days ago. So I don't feel comfortable changing my predictions right now based on that. But yeah, I honestly believe that they will use the Travel Prime. And if it's actually... Now I'm hoping still for the unpublished puzzle, but if it's going to be published puzzles, and actually even if it's going to be unpublished ones, I think we're going to have maybe some kind of collage, not those cat and dog collages that we all know Travel has, but maybe some of those nature puzzles, or one of those more like plain funny images. There's, for example, this cat puzzle that I find as the cutest puzzle in the whole world. I don't think it's gonna be one of those really abstract color splash images that we see, for example, this one in the EJJ last year. So yeah, I think those are going to be used. Now the bigger question is it going to be published or unpublished one? But those are definitely my predictions. I know it's not an exact puzzle I'm telling you here, but that's the best I can do. But now about the winners. So I actually have, okay, let's just go to it. So I think the winner of the individual category will be the Polish guy, Christian. You may know him as a Puzzle Chris on Instagram. He is crazy fast, and I think he, even if there is like same level speed puzzlers, I think he just wants it more. So I think he is going to win. For the pairs, I think we will have Kati and Kiara winning that category for sure. And then for the teams, I think teams will be surprised. And by surprise, I don't actually mean that I don't have a prediction. If you would force me, obviously I would tell you some people I know who are participating, where there is really strong teams I'm aware of, but I think the winner team will be some team that I really don't know that they exist, or I'm not really familiar with them. So that's what I mean when I say a surprise. So it's kind of like not anybody that is like super known in online, if that makes sense. And yeah, that's pretty much my predictions. I know when I did the Worlds last year, my puzzle predictions, and I gave actually exact puzzles. I got, in solo rounds, I got 7 out of 10 correctly. And then my winner predictions, I think I got 4 out of 5. And I know this time I basically, with the winners, I just gave the one who's gonna win the whole thing, not like top 5 or something. But anyway, just to keep it short, now it's time to move on to my chat, my lovely chat with somebody you probably already know. All right, so let's get it started. Obviously, I know you, but maybe some viewers don't. So if you could just tell everybody who you are and also how you connected to the event of the first European Championships.
Well, hi everyone. I am Fruzsi and I am from Hungary, but I actually live in Germany. Yeah, I'm a speed puzzler, obviously. But this time I'm actually not going to be puzzling at the event, but I'm going to be hosting the live stream, which is going to be available through the entire event. They're going to be sharing the links, and I will be sharing the links, and everyone is going to be sharing everything very soon. From what I know, it's going to be pretty professional with like a whole camera crew and everything. And obviously, I'm going to also have some co-hosts, including Amelia.
That's true. That's actually funny because I know I'm supposed to, and I will come to comment it. I just never checked the link that you sent me when I do that, but I'll be there.
Yeah, so far it's not that much information. Like I'm still working on adding like everything else. Like have created the schedule and everything. I can't actually remember which round I put you into, but we'll figure it out very soon. And yeah, there's still a lot of research to come in like the next couple of days. But yes, I'm going to be hosting the live stream.
That is amazing. So you're not only like local basically of the country, but you're also like organizing. So you're like the pro to give us all the scoop
I
before.
wouldn't say I'm exactly organizing because I am helping out the organizers a little bit and I am in touch with them, but like I don't want to act like I am doing any of like the heavy lifting because they are the ones who are doing the actual
Yeah.
organization. But when I found out that they are going to be doing the event, I was thinking that like this is the best way that I could help them. Like I really want to have this event be a success and I want them to be happy about what they have done. And I felt like this is the way that I can help them out the best.
Yeah.
So yes, that's why I chose to be the host, or I offered that I would host.
Yeah. But that's wonderful. And that was also a great clarification. I just use words and then I fly with them. By the way, this is funny thing. Every time I have a private coaching lesson, I always have my phone like this and I start all of my sessions. Oh, by the way, I'm not texting people if you see my phone. I just have my notes here.
Yeah, that's fine. That's okay.
So applies this case. Um, Obviously, I have a lot of questions about the event itself and competing and everything, but my biggest concern is obviously how do you survive the weather?
Well, it has been very hot in Hungary every summer, and obviously climate change has been getting hotter and hotter, and it's extremely warm now. Well, one way to survive just being there is just going to the baths everywhere, all over the city, because like Hungary is very rich in thermal water all around the country actually, but also in Budapest. So there's a lot of these baths where you can just go and chill. The water is warmer than what people I think usually are used to in pools because it is thermal water, but it's the best way to cool down. And the beaches are really nice. So those are definitely a recommendation. And then the good news that we have figured out yesterday is that there's going to be AC at the competition, which is a huge help. So
No,
I actually shared it on Instagram and like people have been saying that like that is like the best news.
and I actually got a question related to that. And I totally get this question. This I don't know if this makes sense to anybody else other than Finnish people, but so yes, everybody saw that there's this great news, there's gonna be AC. But now this question I got from a fellow Finnish puzzler, and she was wondering this. Now I'm also wondering this. So there is an AC. Now the question is, so is it actually going to be that cold that you should actually also bring like long sleeves to the venue itself?
I don't think so. Like, I have not been to the venue, but just considering that it's a big sports hall, so I don't think it's going to be using that much energy to make it so cold that you're actually cold. Also, I think, but I don't want to assume too much, but I think that they don't want to make it too cold, like compared to the outside temperature, because it's also not very healthy.
Yeah.
So it is going to be cooler and hopefully not too hot, but also not cool. So you're not going to need a jacket or
Yeah, I
anything.
don't I honestly don't know if this is a Finnish problem, but I also have this every time I go to some country like Middle East or something where it's a hot outside and then they have like a strong AC inside. I actually get sick.
Mm-hmm.
Which doesn't happen in Finland, even though it's like cold here almost every time, especially in the winter. But like that's change of temperature, I also find it very annoying. I'm sometimes like I'd rather have no AC. Uh,
Yeah.
but with your temperature, I may want to take that anyway.
Yeah, it's not going to be too cold. Like, not, I can compare it to like the US, which I think was the most horrible that I have had. I spent 2 summers in the US, and every single time you go inside anywhere, it's like freezing cold. I would have to carry a jacket even when it was like 40 degrees outside, which is horrible. But no, that's not going to be the case. So you don't have to worry about having like a jacket or whatever. Just like stay reasonable. You might want to carry something in case you go out in the night so that like you can put something on when you're going home late at night. But otherwise, you're not going to need it.
Yeah, I'm seriously considering just like putting on a swimsuit and then like skirt or something, and then I can just pour water on myself. So in case anybody see me doing that, don't find it weird.
Yeah, yeah, that can also work, but I don't think it's going to be necessary, really. I hope at least.
Well, we will see. It has been nice 10 degrees, 15 degrees here in Finland. Okay, now it's actually a little bit hotter, but
Oh
yeah.
God, I would freeze there.
No, it's nice. It's nice outside. Okay, let's move on to the event itself. This is gonna be a very like open question, but what to actually expect from the event? And what I'm kind of like looking here for is I always talk about expectation management, but obviously we have different kind of nationals, the worlds, the way they organize it has changed. Sometimes we accept something super fabulous, even though also we're kind of fine if everybody just doing their best. What can we actually expect from the venue, the organization of this whole event, and anything basically?
Well, like I can't speak for like previous championships because
Yeah.
this is like the very first that they're going to do that is like international and this big. But this team has been organizing pretty much almost the only Hungarian competitions, and those are pretty big. So like there's once a year there's a big competition that they do, and like I can pretty much like assume from there of like what it's like. And those I'm not afraid to say this, those are pretty much my favorite competitions in Europe. So like the atmosphere is just super special. They pay attention to the details very much, and it's just super familiar. Like you can like really feel the love, which sounds very cheesy, but they make everyone feel welcome in these competitions. And I know that they're going to have a lot of volunteers, so they are prepared for hosting this many people, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's mostly what I can assume at the moment, that it's going to be very good. But I don't want to hype it up too much in case people just start to expect too much. But yeah, in general, it's just a very nice team. It's also a very harmonious team, which I think is important when organizing a competition. So they know each other well, they know how everyone works, they know what to expect from each other. So I hope that it's going to work out the way they want it to.
Yeah, okay, that sounds I mean, obviously none of these are like absolute truths that we're saying here, but like I trust like what is your vibe from that and obviously the other events in Hungary. So that sounds really good. High expectations now.
Yes. Yeah. So I have seen like because I don't live in Budapest anymore, I have only seen like the venue and their planned layout and how the entire thing is going to work out through a video. Because when they went to visit the venue, we had like a video call so they could guide me around and show me like what it's going to be like. And from there, it looks like it's very spacious. So there's going to be like a lot of space between people, not like at I can compare it to the worlds mostly, where like we're like crammed into that little cage in the middle, and there's like a huge crowd. But here you have the entire sports field for the competitors, which is going to be competition area, and the stage is also going to be there for like the speakers, and there's like a big spectator area behind the entire thing, and then to get up there you have to go in like a separate corridor and things like that, so it's not messy. The whole thing is spacious and nice, so I that's also where I think it's not going to be too hot, because it's a huge space for many people.
Yeah. Yeah, that totally makes sense. Is there any like side events or activities that the organizers are doing, or do you think that people will start doing those naturally? Or I don't know, if there are sometimes possible just in some events or some stands or sponsors having their own little huts or something like that.
Not that I know of. I do know that there's going to be some stands for shops, and I think maybe one of the sponsors is going to have like a bigger stand. But yeah, I'm not entirely sure. There might be some random puzzles, but I think they just don't have like the brain power to like also just like manage like a separate puzzle swap or something like that. Because what they do, which I think is actually really cool at like the normal Hungarian competitions, is that there's like a market for puzzles, and that is actually managed by the organizers, but I don't think that's going to happen this time.
Yeah, and that I think that actually makes sense because it's their first event, so they really want to focus on the main thing. And obviously, the puzzle community is also creative, like just starting activities on the side on their own. No, actually, I'm just curious. This question just came to my mind about you, but like, do you, when you go to a puzzle event, do you also do puzzles outside of the competition? Like I don't know why am I the only one who doesn't do this, but when I go to a competition, I only do the competition round puzzles when I have to compete, and I don't want to do any other puzzles in the whole event.
Yeah, I'm the opposite. Like I pretty much arrive to like wherever there's other puzzle people, and I just non-stop puzzle. As soon as there's any pieces around me, I just non-stop do it. I can't stop. So if they allow me, I just keep going.
I I don't know if there's something wrong with me.
I
Probably.
think you're just very focused on like on your own task, but I'm exactly the opposite. I do like 10 things at the same time. So like if I had to just do one thing and just wait for that to happen, I would go completely crazy.
That's true. I'm not here for fun. I'm not here for socializing.
I'm here for business.
Exactly. That's yeah. Okay, let's go with that. But now that's also pressure on actually creating some results. And I saw I was actually in. I don't know. By the way, the participant list. I don't know if you have an answer to this, but are they like fully ranked? And based on what? Because I'm on table 7, and I'm like, that's only way down is from there for me. But okay.
Well, when they were putting together the table order, it is partly randomized, I think. But in order to make it easier, mostly for the live stream, they put like people that they know and people that are YouTubers, people that are like, yeah, more well known, and people that are super fast more to the front so that they can be shown on the cameras more easily. And like, the camera guy doesn't have to run to the very back to like, yeah, catch a finisher or something like that. It's still possible that there's someone that we didn't know, and is they're in the back and they're going to be like, I don't know, European champions. But yeah, that's pretty much what we were doing, is that like we were, because they also sent it to me at one point as well. So there was the list of participants, and then the division between the categories, so like A or B, that is completely random of like who got where. But then once we had those, that's where we went in and just like, yeah, put a mark next to the people that you have to pay attention to, which sounds horrible, but it's for practical reasons, that like that they're going to be fast so that they are in the beginning.
Yeah, okay. I assume now that I know that I will be maybe the showing on the live stream at least for some time. You probably because you're hosting and you have commentators, so I assume the cameras that are filming the competitors that will not have audio. Because sometimes they do have audio on that camera and sometimes not.
I don't think they are, because they're going to be showing our voices
Yeah.
for the most of the time. So if there is, it's not going to be audible anyway. I don't want to say anything silly, but I think there's going to be 2 cameras running around, plus one that is showing the commentators. Yeah, I think that's it. And I don't think they're going to show sound
Sounds
at
good.
that point.
Because in some competitions they do. I think Slovenia may have been one. But
Yeah,
I
well,
really hear when people were to the camera and like F off or something.
yeah, well, in Slovenia, like it was not a professional camera crew. It was literally someone's phone just going around and showing everyone, which I think is very cool, because it was like, like a family get together. But yeah, you could hear the unfiltered commentary from people.
Yeah, it was kind. I think everybody learned who was watching that, and all the organizers learned, and everybody else that check if there is audio that also catching the people who are sitting nearby or the persons you're filming.
Yes, yeah. There are things that people just find out once they are like once on a live stream. Like for me, what I had to learn very quickly is that like for photos and anything else in speed puzzling, you don't wear a very deep cut top because it's not very practical when there's like a camera like coming in and then everything is out. So it's
I still do, but I don't really care. Not my problem.
yeah.
All right. Good questions that were not actually on my list. What are you most excited about the whole event, or maybe about your duties as well?
Oh, well, just to like get that out of the way, what I'm super excited about is to go and visit my family.
Oh,
Actually, because I'm flying tomorrow, actually, and I'm going to get to spend a little time with my mom, who actually lives in Budapest. I also grew up in Budapest. So I get to spend a little time with my mom and my sister, and I'm really looking forward to that. So that's the one thing. So it's a good opportunity to get home. But otherwise, one is the atmosphere of the event. Like I was saying, I'm expecting it to be like very friendly and very comfortable. Even though it's like a big championship, I'm hoping that it's going to be like a very welcoming event for everyone. And then just seeing everyone again, like just knowing who is going to be there that are by now I can call friends that I don't get to see very often. It's going to be super great. And also just to have people in Budapest. Like I'm a big campaigner for the city and for Hungary because I think it's amazing to be a tourist there. So yeah, that's also why I put together that little guide that I posted on Instagram, because like I want people to enjoy the city because it's such a good city.
yeah, yeah, definitely. I actually never been. I don't think I even been in Hungary ever.
Well, then this is a good excuse.
Yeah, definitely. This is like my first time. So yeah, I'm quite excited, even though it's just 3 days. But I hope I will also get to see a little bit places and other than just the venue, because that happens often. When I used to do sports in a Finnish national team, I've been a lot of countries, but I literally just seen airport, field, hotel.
Yeah, I had the same. Like I'm active in dog sports as well, and that's pretty much the same. Like I maybe see a park because I have to go walk the dogs somewhere, and I see one of these expo venues, and then that's it. Maybe the city center at night if we like get to travel in there and look around a little bit, but like not much. But yeah, hopefully with Budapest it's going to be a little bit different.
Yeah, it's actually insane. This is, I'm like happy that you have the same experience, so you understand what I mean. And it's also funny because a lot of competitions, I remember, they end on Sunday, and a lot of cities in Europe are completely closed and quiet on the Sunday. So you were always like waiting for the Sunday to go see places, and then you're there like, ah,
Yeah,
nothing.
no one's there. Nah, in Hungary that's not the case. Everything is open. That's actually a very funny story because a couple of years ago they wanted to introduce like the like shops closing in on Sundays, and people were actually so loudly against it that they had to go back on it. So like I think it was a law for maybe a month or a little bit more. And then they just went back on it and they were like, no, no, everything is going to be open on Sundays because people are going to revolt.
Yeah, well, that definitely works. I mean, in Finland, it's the same. We don't have anything closed. Everything is almost open here 24/7. So it's just always a weird experience because I honestly just hate it when I travel.
Mm-hmm.
But
That's
yeah,
one of the things that I still can't get used to living in Germany. I have been here for 5 years and I still don't count with shops being closed. I was organizing a competition in May, and that was also on a Sunday. And then, without a problem, I was telling them that like Lidl and Aldi is right next to the venue. You can go over and shop. And I was like, no, you can't because it's on a Sunday. But yeah.
that is just insane. I also like that you mentioned like, about the atmosphere. I'm also very excited. And I always like try to, because coming from a high level sports, I try to remind people that let's keep the competition on the competition field. So, you
Mm-hmm.
competitive on the arena the moment your round ends, let's leave it there, because that's actually much harder to do than, like, it's easy to say, it's kind of like makes sense, but it's when this speed busting gets more sporty in a way, it just gets harder to keep
Mm-hmm.
the mindset as well.
Yeah, I think for now it's very difficult with speed puzzling because it's a very strong mix and there's two very different groups of people in speed puzzling at the moment. There are like those who like really treat it as a sport and they go there to compete. And then there's the big majority, which I think is still the big majority, who do it as a hobby and they go there to like have fun and puzzle with other people as just a random weekend thing. So like to harmonize that in an event is, I think, very, very difficult.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I actually like that you kind of like brought it up. Um okay, so where as a obviously there's a lot of participants coming, but I think there's a lot of interest of people who actually want to watch the event. So I think you mentioned this in the very beginning, but where you can watch what's going on, all the competitions and listen.
It is going to be streamed on YouTube
Mhm.
on the Hungarian Association's YouTube channel. I will send you the link later. And then
Description. I also, by the way, noticed today. So for me, where I actually found it was, I think already on their website. Every round, if you click it, like if you check the event schedule or something, you have a link to all of those live streams as well.
yes, exactly. So it's already like the link that I have is literally like the collecting page of like all the streams and they are already scheduled. So it's pretty cool.
You can just go there and notify me, notify me, notify me, notify me.
Yes, and subscribe.
Subscribe as well, of course. Um, what in addition to the live stream watching those, is there something somewhere where you can actually follow up the results in real time? Do you know?
It's all going to be on the website of the event. I think it is a little bit difficult to navigate, or it's not really self-evident, but it is on the website. So like you have to play around a little bit with the menus of how it works. But there is going to be a page with results, and it works pretty well. I know that like the formula of the website comes from the German Association, so by now I know it pretty well. But yes, so that's pretty much what they have reworked a little bit. So there's going to be like the picture of the puzzle above the results, and it's supposed to be real time. So I know that they have people that are going to be behind the desk and like logging the results as they come in.
Yeah, because that's actually something of viewers and the participants want to know. Because that's like the first thing. I don't know, is this first thing you do when I finish a puzzle? And I always like to volunteer. Do you know my placement? They never know it. And the first thing I go is like, where is the result? Which one am I?
Yeah, I also always have to check out the placements immediately. I love it when it's displayed somewhere on the wall. And I think that is also going to be the case here. So there is going to be a display with the results. And yeah, so everyone can check it out. Once they are done, they can just load the page. I hope it's not going to be too overloaded.
Yeah.
That's going to be the one thing. We know that from Worlds, I think.
Yeah, I was just about to say that we may have some experience with that situation.
Yes, exactly.
But I mean, it always happens. I was actually in the Swedish, not Swedish nationals, the Nordic Championship just like a couple weeks ago, and I posted my placement, and I also posted on my YouTube video and on my Instagram feed later. And then my friend came to comment, "I'm actually 16, not you," and I'm like, but I have a screenshot that says I'm 16, but it's just like sometimes it's not even like when I obviously check it before I post it, I usually check that they have a lot of results already in. But sometimes, it's if it's literally missing one from between or some mistyped seconds or something, then whoopsie doopsie.
Yeah, well, that's how it is. There are changes always. I heard from the organizers of the German championship that that was the thing that like I don't know, like they put in some typos because it happens when you put in like 300 results. So it's like 2 seconds off of what they got, and then people were like complaining and asking for corrections and everything. So it's yeah, it happens.
Yeah, yeah, and sometimes people even go to ask for the corrections themselves, so it may even happen at the moment of taking the time. So, do you, by the way, know what is going to be the rule of stopping time? Because now I read the rules and everything today, but I don't remember seeing a mention about this, because the new rule for the world and has been used in many nationals is that you as a participant has to say when to stop the time.
I didn't even know that.
Basically, because there is the 10-second penalty with the missing pieces.
Uh-huh.
That even if you, for example, see that you're missing a piece, you have like the power to call stop the time, and then they will stop it and then just add the penalty. Or you can choose to go look for that piece, but the time will run until you literally say stop the time.
Yeah, that actually makes sense.
Yeah, it does make a sense, but yeah, I didn't find a mention of how is it going to be, but I'm probably anyway, stop the time, time done.
I assume it's just going to be because there's going to be judges obviously walking up and down and keeping times. So it's most probably just going to be them
Yeah.
deciding when it's done.
Yeah, but I think the rule is such a new thing also for a lot of volunteers that that's something that I've seen causing that sometimes are corrected afterwards. That, for example, the judge just didn't remember that rule and kind of like waited for people to look for the piece or something. Which
Yeah, could be.
it's like nobody's perfect, and we have all these changes coming up. Just little tweak, but still. Do I have any more questions? Oh yeah, most important question, of course. Where people can follow you and find all the other fabulous tips you have actually already shared. I think you had a guide or something to the city.
Yes. Yes. I posted like a Budapest guide, which like has pretty much everything. Like it's kind of based on like the questions that I have been getting from people in like the past months, and just random things that I like to share. These are all on my Instagram, which is fw.puzzles. Yeah, I guess that's going to be linked somewhere as well. And yeah, the guide is in the highlights.
Okay. So yeah, that where you can find all the other stuff. Anything else you wish to share or ask me, or could be completely related to something else than this championship?
Well, what is that you are looking forward to in relation to the event?
I am looking for my long lost motivation and excitement. Not to downplay the event, but I haven't had like I feel like in 2023 when I went to my first world and then some first competitions, I always had like this super excitement starting from the moment I registered. But I think now that we have so many competitions all the time, I'm having hard time to kind of like hype myself for the competition. It just
Mm-hmm.
one of the competitions between other competitions. So yeah, I guess I'm looking forward to have a fun time. And I know quite often when you actually get there, then you get excited. So I'm not like super worried, but yeah, I'm looking to find my long lost motivation.
Yeah. Yeah, that I can understand in a way. Like for me, it's not with puzzling at the moment, but it's with dog sports that I have been like doing like a very long break because I just didn't have motivation at all. Like before, like last year, for example, I would go to an event pretty much every second week. Like especially with dog shows, you get them every single weekend if you want to, if you're willing to travel. But you know, it kind of gets boring at one point, especially if you do it on like a high level.
Yeah.
So it yeah, it's pressure that you put yourself under every single time. So it's yeah. In a way, I think what could help on that is that at the moment in Europe, it's mostly just big championships everywhere. So like when someone organizes a competition, it has to be like a national championship. It has to be like an I don't know what championship. And I miss just normal competitions, which is like literally, okay, 50 people can now puzzle.
Mhm.
And then it's not a nationals, it's not like anything, it's just a competition. It's way better, way more relaxed for everyone because it's not a titling thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what I miss at the moment.
That's true. And also like different kind of puzzle events and maybe a little bit more relaxed atmosphere in a way.
Yes.
I feel like, as you said, like now if an association starts a new country, obviously their first priority is the nationals, and then they have energy to absolutely nothing else. And then also like we don't have like too much like for example small puzzle brands local that would actually for example hold their competitions or something like that. So yeah, that makes sense. And even like I love Euro Jigsaw Jam. I have participated almost all of them. But even with that, it's like so competitive now. And like people are so into the sport aspect of it that they're trying to like we're trying to find like how to make it better and better structures and fair to everybody. And like obviously the never-ending conversation about pop list and pop list puzzle, which I understand, but like maybe we could. I love those. We had this Facebook group. So this is when I originally started speed busing. So there was this Facebook group who just like had this fun competition on Google Meets. Actually, we didn't even have Google Meets open. So we had the countdown and then you could close the Google Meets.
Ah,
Send like a picture when you were done to one of the people. And then we had like a second Google Meet like later that day, like I don't know, was it like 6, 8 hours later, where everybody
mhm.
came together and everybody shared the experience. So basically we went through all the times and everybody had time to like say how did they feel about the puzzle. And yeah, that I actually missed that kind of.
Yeah, yeah. These are the things that I'm also dreaming of. Like, um, one thing that I think is super cool is what I see in the US, that they do these pub puzzling competitions where it's literally people in a pub. It's not ideal environments at all. And it's not, I don't think it's even 500-piece puzzles, or not always. It can also just be 200 pieces. You go to a pub, you drink, you hang out with people, and then you do puzzles as well, and it's a competition. So like these more relaxed things are what I really miss. And in that sense, I'm kind of sorry that I live in a very like remote place. So like I live in very rural Germany.
Yeah.
It's about an hour and a half drive to like Cologne and Dortmund. So like yeah, somewhere around there. And like if I still lived in a city, like if I was in Budapest, I would be like going to bars and knocking on their doors of like, hey, I want to do a competition here. Just like random people can sign up as they come in for puzzles or for drinks. Because like back in the day, I'm not sure if it was a thing in Finland, but like there was a wave of pub quizzes that was like a huge trend. And like groups of friends would just go to a pub on a Tuesday night to like hang out for like 2 hours and do a quiz.
I feel like that's actually a thing because there was this is a long time ago, but because I feel like now if you ask somebody how did you get into puzzles, they saw a YouTube video, blah 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 blah. We already heard that, but that was like 2 years ago when you asked this question. I actually a lot of times got the answer that, oh, my friend was just hosting this like wine and puzzle night.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. This is the things that I love. And that's partly why I love marathons. And then here there's actually advertisement time, or not really, but like we are organizing a marathon exactly with that in mind with Michelle in Trier in August. I think you're coming as well.
I am coming. It's
And
the first one ever. I've never done.
yes, so like it's the same with the marathons, that it's just such a good atmosphere, and it can be competitive,
Yeah.
but it's also like the first marathon that I went to, my fondest memory of that event is that there was a table with like I would say 80 plus ladies sitting there. They completed in the 10 hours, I think, one and a half puzzle. But like they were sitting there, drinking their tea, eating their little croissants, walking around and talking to people. And it's just like a 10-hour thing that you can do, which I think is really, really cool. So that's why when we got back and we were talking with Michelle and we were saying, like, we just need to do one of these because it's so cool.
I'm actually excited for that. And I have found like where I actually find my fun these days is actually puzzling with friends. It can be competitive, but not competitive in a way that you're competing against just, other participants and other speed puzzlers, but with your friends. So it's kind of like a different for me, and that I actually find quite fun these days. And that actually also helps me to find my motivation. So yeah. I don't know what went there, but I think it's also like the reason why I stopped competing like 10 years ago. And I was like, after that, like, I don't really even miss, I'm a competitive person, but I don't really miss the atmosphere because I know I get kind of like tired of it quite soon. So you need to have the balance of the fun and competing.
Yes, I agree with that completely.
Do you?
It's just like if you go like super competitive and you are actually going for titles and you're, like going to championships and not just for the fun of it, but you're actually like aiming to be in top 10 or whatever. So like you want to achieve something, then it is pressure. It's not just relaxing, even
Yeah.
though it's a free time activity. Like very few people make a living off puzzles at the moment. But like even though it's a free time activity, competing as a puzzler, it's going to be like pressure, and then it's not relaxing anymore. So you get to work on Monday after a weekend of competing at a puzzle competition. And if you were there as a competitor, like actively
Yeah.
trying to perform, then it's not relaxing. You're tired afterwards.
And actually, what I actually want people know who are watching, I wish you to comment on this if you're a speed puzzler, because I feel like this is not only a competition issue for me. If I have I have a pile of puzzles I want to do that I haven't done before. If I'm like one night, I would have time but not interest to speed. I cannot do any of those new puzzles on my pile if there are 500-piece puzzles because it feels like I'm wasting it.
Hmm.
Do it later for speed. It's not my like I don't even know how to explain it, but like I just want to hear people's opinion. Am I the only one with this problem? Because it feels stupid also because I want to do puzzles for fun, but it feels like I'm almost incapable to doing it now because I feel like such a strong feeling that I will be wasting that puzzle.
Yeah, especially with the first try, with like first attempt. And then if you do it as a relaxed one, it's not really a first attempt once you try to speed it. The way I went around it actually is that now I only buy like large piece count for relaxing. So like 2000 piece upwards. And then that's the relax puzzles, and everything else is like relatively speedy.
I kind of try to go with that, but then I'm now just complaining my first world problems. But like my problem is then if I start 1,000-piece puzzle relaxing, I'm gonna be having a problem that it's gonna be still on my table the next day. And I swear to God, the next day I will have either Euro Jigsaw Jam, coaching session, or I'm supposed to film a YouTube video or a live stream. So I cannot possibly have it on my table. So then I end
Yeah.
up like not doing the puzzle at all just for fun.
Yeah, well, that I can also understand. Now, that's where people suggest that you should be putting them on boards, like the large ones, so that like you can move them around. But that drives me completely nuts. I can't do that to like put it away because then it's still a big board that is taking up space.
Yeah. Same. I mean, maybe I could actually be happy doing puzzles on the floor, but I have a dog, so I can't do that either.
No, no, you can't do puzzles on the floor. Like, no, that doesn't work when you have a dog.
Yeah, we need to start relaxing, but not for the European Championships. That's where we're going now.
No, that's just going to be a high the entire 3 days.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, anyway, thank you for all this, and go follow her on Instagram. All the what we're talking about will be on the description, and leave a comment. And obviously, we want to know if you're coming to the Budapest, and hopefully see you there.
Yes, and then come say hi.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.